know when I first got the email asking me this, to be honest, it kind of blew me away. One of my personal struggles, because I think of myself personally, actually as more as an intuitive than an artist, or to see myself called a musician, is still kind of out of my comfort zone. But I approached art from a totally different perspective. I never actually planned to be an artist. It was not what I was looking to do. For me, because my story, it goes back to when I was a small child. At the ages of 4, and then again at 6, I had near-death experiences where I had to have life-saving surgeries. And during those experiences, I was introduced to beings that, to 3 of my own angels. As a small child, one of my real struggles was then to explain that to my parents. 1960s Iowa farming community. Didn't go well, because I didn't have the words for it being a small child, and terms that we think of today, like near-death experiences, didn't even exist yet. And even if they did, I wouldn't have heard of them. So as that progressed, being able to see and communicate with, these beautiful beings, I wasn't able to share that with people, but also didn't realize that not everybody else didn't see them. Fast forward to 1997. By this time, I have 4 children. 2 were just 4 and 5 years old, and the other 2 were preteens. But and then all of a sudden, I realized I'm not seeing just mine anymore. I'm seeing everybody else's too. You can imagine seeing these 8 to 10 feet tall beings when you go to the grocery store. It's a little overwhelming as you can count miles. But one of the things at that point, they asked me to start drawing these beings for everybody else. Whoops, wrong way. There you go. I never see faces. It's like seeing kind of their energy field. Their wings, to me, it's like their fingerprints. No 2 have ever been all alike in these 21 years that I've been doing these drawings. But what you see today and what I started out with, because I was not an artist at that time, they taught me how to do this. It's kind of changed over the years, but started out with pastels first on paper, twice the size, 18 by 24 size paper. I just couldn't get the details, those tiny details that I wanted, so I moved to colored pencil and doing more 9 by 12 drawings. And I've experimented with even smaller, but it doesn't work for me. The 9 by 12 works best. But so me, it's been more about helping people connect with the divine, with their angelic selves, and that spiritual connection. So it's been a totally different experience for me coming this. I never planned to be an artist. Fast forward again to about 2011, I come across this antique toy called the Hoop Nanny. It's an old metal toy that was actually the grandfather to the spirograph. From that, I just started playing with that and creating mandalas. And another intuitive here in the Kansas City area was playing with what they call the South Asia frequencies. That in itself is a whole nother talk, but they're the very specific Hertz frequencies. They're used to send our universe into existence. Therefore, they can help us realign with our original blueprint. But using that, I created some and do we have a picture of some of the mandalas? There. There's 9 sets of 9 frequencies, so a total of 81 different mandalas. I just started that project in 2011. I just finished it late last year. With that, I have created a set of coloring books with an explanation of what each of the different mandalas can help you with as you that people have used in a number of different ways. And I've even started doing a type of soul growth reading, which is a type of oracle reading with these cards. And I wouldn't have done that without some great mentions from wonderful friends of mine as well. But with my fascination with the frequencies, I started doing, I'm pointing at the wrong thing, of crystal singing bowl meditations. Because I now have actually set up, as you can see, 8 different bowls. Each one of them is a solfeggio frequency bowl. So those bowls are a little bit harder to find. For those of you that are not familiar with the crystal bowls, it's similar to, you've seen the pictures of people taking a wine glass and rubbing their finger around the top. It's that concept, just bigger. The bowls are actually made out of reconstituted quartz crystal. The larger the bowl, the deeper the frequency, or what actually chooses the note, or is the size, the thickness of the bowl, and as well as the height determines the different note and the frequency. And you get the majority of my bowls you'll see are white. Those are plain reconstituted quartz crystal. The golden one in front. Some of the bowls are now being infused with different stones. This one is actually infused with iron. So it's a very grounding bowl. And then I also do, because I like to play with different types of stones. Stones can be like, think of magnifying glasses for different types of energy. Is the best way, easiest way I can think of to explain it. So I do a different healing grid there, like on the left, with different stones for each one, or each bowl. And I do those twice a month in different locations, and randomly in other locations, and I'm open to doing that in other places as well. And I have recorded 2 CDs with those with the picture earlier, I'm sorry. So that just shows you some of the different things that I do, and kind of how I got where I am, because from a totally different direction. My lines of revenue are the biggest one, because I have been doing them the longest, are angel portraits. I have been exploring more and more, doing some original artwork, both using watercolor as well as some different acrylics that all incorporate different symbols, different spirituality, things that speak to me in some way on a spiritual level. Also the crystal singing bowls, the meditations, and the coloring books. Marketing channels for me. And one of the biggest, hardest things for me has been, especially coming out to, in the spiritual community. Like last weekend, we had a very big metaphysical fair here in Kansas City, KC Metaphysical. In those communities, it's a lot easier for me to talk about my story. Stepping out in the art community and telling you, I see things, is a little bold for me. But I also do have a website, SusanWalterArt.com. I was also a techie for a number of years and was a web designer and developer for like 13 years. But I got tired of being laid off from that, because you get laid off every 2 to 3 years, and I've been on my own now for 5.5 years. Doing that, I also do a number of metaphysical fairs, crystal singing bowl meditations, and I do use and post on Instagram and Facebook quite a bit.
Can we go to your challenges on the slide? There we go.
Okay, goals. Goals. I would like to step out and do more gallery, find some gallery representation and do some more gallery shows. And I also, I can also see the angels from photograph, things like that. So I would like to be doing more of that, doing more of the angel portraits by commission.
Why don't we start getting into Q&A and we'll leave the slide.
Okay. these out.
Yeah, and I love having both of you presenting, you and Jenny, because I think there's, your work parallels each other, but
Yeah,
there's things,
we both have a very strong intuitive piece to our work.
but there's things that each of you are doing that the other is not, but could possibly help progress
Yes.
their art even further as far as sales and such. So, questions? Okay, great. We'll start. Close here.
Hi.
Hi.
That's a good presentation. How are you currently getting commissions, and do you have any plans of how you're going to expand how you approach people to get commissions?
I mostly do that by going to fairs and some of the middle New Age shops in the region. And I have gone as far as Colorado and Texas and different areas to the metaphysical shows and visiting Summit. And then I try to, when I go to those different places, visit with some of the different New Age shops in those areas as well.
We have a question over here.
I was curious about that term, solfeggio?
Solfeggio?
Solfeggio, what is that?
Again, that is very specific hertz frequencies. It's all based on Pythagorean math. They are all 3-digit numbers, and they all, when you add up those 3 digits, they all add up to either 3, 6, or 9. And it was Nikola Tesla, I believe, who said if we understood 3, 6, and 9, we'd understand the universe. And there's quite a bit of science involved in that, but that can be almost an hour talk in itself.
Hi, so interesting. I was really curious. Do you see a bunch of angels in here today?
I've learned to kind of tone it down just a little bit, where I see like a sphere of color that's just constantly moving around someone. So it's kind of like seeing little snow globes. And then when I sit down with someone, just one will step forward and take shape and define color for me. And that's how I know which angel I'm supposed to draw for that person.
And we're going to look up your work online where you do some whole work and everything. Great presentation.
Thanks.
On that note, I'm an introvert too, so I know it's a challenge to get up in front of people, but you have such a unique origin to your art. Have you ever thought of doing a video, short promo video, like a minute and a half long? And it's not necessarily you have to be testimony the whole time, but you can show your art and the variety of art you do and the origin of the story.
I've not done the origin of the story because I hate the sound of my own voice. The closest I've done is I've done a couple of short videos showing some of my art where you can hear like me playing the bowls. But that's as close as I've done at this point.
Well, consider because it's a unique story, and I think a lot of people would find a lot of validity to what you do because of that story. So, or I should say, even more validity. Question?
You'll share it probably on our Instagram.
Yeah, I'm hopefully not using this video.
Hi. You mentioned one of your goals was increase gallery exposure. Have you thought about approaching there? Are a lot of yoga centers, coffee shops, and such that rotate their works on a monthly or every few month basis as spiritual living centers. And I think your works might really connect with people, might really tie in well with just getting yourself out there and visibility, being seen, and like I said, I think there would be a lot of people, some of those places that would be just the right audience you might be trying to connect with.
I have done that a little bit because that is also where I tend to do the crystal balls as at yoga studios. Because people do usually lay down for those, and that gives me the open space to do it in. I actually have my work right now is at Lotus Yoga at 151st and Null. But to be honest, I could do a little bit more of that than I have, and I could definitely do that outside the Casey metro area. And I have not done that. So thank you for the nudge.
Great question here.
I think it would be really interesting for someone to shoot a video of you creating an angel piece for someone who's sitting like at the fair, metaphysical fair or love seeing that. You know, whether it's an artist in Paris that sits you down and, you know, creates your portrait. I think that would be interesting, but I think you could include part of the video of you doing the singing bowls and some of your artwork. And even, I know you have the space at the Interurban Art Gallery too. So getting connected with someone that could shoot that video and putting it all together would be really interesting. And then blasting it all over Facebook and everywhere.
That's a great idea. I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that. So.
And I do have to tell you that a year ago I had not ever created any art, and I was at an art meeting. I have to tell this story, Susan. And she was sitting next to me, and I was representing someone else, and we were all introducing ourselves. And after I introduced myself and said who I was representing, it was a musician for this group to promote it, she just turned to me and she said, well, something like, that's fine and dandy, you're representing this person, but when are you going to do something for yourself as far as creating art? And it was just like a light switch. And I just needed someone to remind me because a year ago I wanted to create art and I wanted to have an art show. And so between August of last year and now I've had 4 art shows and probably created about 200 pieces of art from that time. So I appreciate, sometimes it takes just one person saying, reminding you what you need to do. And it's been a really fun process. And I've watched Jenny create her art and been inspired by Jenny and Susan, so thank you.
And two, what have you done as far as evaluating the fairs you do?
The only fairs I've ever done have been metaphysical fairs. I have a number of them that, you know, like you see Metaphysical, one in Des Moines that I am going to continue to do. Some of the smaller ones where it was pretty much a wash, like, you know, a lot of your classes. You know, I am going to reevaluate doing a lot of those. But it's really hard to evaluate. You know, you got to look at it both financially, but, you know, how rewarding it is to go out and do that.
And then two, for your performances, are you on iTunes or
No, I have not done stuff like iTunes, and I really should.
From the full-time musicians we've had here, they find they don't get as much income from those, but those really add exposure. And usually too, what they do is when they go to perform a new place outside of Kansas City, they'll do some they'll do some cheap Facebook ads in that community, and then plus people hear them from Spotify and iTunes, and they tend to have CD sales, which CD sales are the biggest income for them. But
yeah, I know Facebook ads, I know I've used those a little bit, to be honest. You know, it gets people, you know, get 200 people to be, say they're interested in your event, but none of them ever show up.
and anything that goes to that, you know, it takes 3 or 4 hits for someone to engage someone in join up or purchasing or et cetera, so forth.
Yeah.
And along those lines, I consider Facebook events to be advertising.
Yeah.
Free advertising. I don't
They
count on them for the count of who's going to show up. But you had mentioned wanting to get into galleries, like beyond, I think, yoga studios and places like that. And I was wondering, and I know you're at the Interurban Art Space, so you have, you know, open studios and shows that way. Have you pursued any galleries in the Crossroads, like for a First Friday?
And I did one several years ago. That gallery is actually no longer there. And, you know, and I've walked into some of them. I don't always feel like what I do is a good fit, and maybe that's me being hard on myself. And I personally, it's been a real struggle for me to connect with the art community because there's that word intuitive in front of artist for me. And people just, you know, look at you cross-eyed, and I don't feel, you know, and I'm maybe a bit harsh on myself for that.
Yeah, you know, when I first opened my studio in the Bower, I felt a little uncomfortable as well, as far as, oh, people aren't going to get what I do. I've been surprised at how many people walk in and say, oh, you must practice yoga, or oh, you must meditate, and oh yeah, I practice this, I do this. I mean, young people too, millennials, like I'm really impressed with the conversations that developed from that. And yeah, so I realized it was partly my own mind that was kind of, you know, separating myself from the art world. So there might be less of a separation there, I think.
Yeah, I think that, you know, more and more people are becoming, you know, using meditation, yoga, and different things in their daily practice than they were, you know, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago.
And there's galleries that you can literally like even rent a wall from, you know, so that have like a whole variety of artists in it. So there's like Jones or some others, yeah. So,
I know, I'm not very good at marketing myself, I do admit that. I like to stay in my studio and create.
Or like Paper Birch and Button Wood, they have monthly things that you may want to just try one of those if they fit your art.
You said that early on with your angel paintings that they're mostly like 9 by 12.
Yeah.
Do you do any larger scale ones?
Not at this time, no, I'm not.
So I was thinking that if you did some larger scale ones, you might look into non-traditional churches. That they might be a good outlet for commissions for those.
Okay.
Question over here.
I was interested in your crystal bowl music, and how did you get interested in that, and what is your clientele for that kind of, is that a program, is that a workshop, are people invited to participate, or are you demonstrating, or how does that work?
Those are open to public, anybody can come, most people do. You know, if you have a yoga mat, blanket, pillows, right, those, if you don't, there's usually those are available as well. How did I get into it? I heard my first crystal singing bowl probably 1993, 1994, and I just fell in love. First I collected medals for myself because I had kids, I had to trust not to break them, because they are breakable. And then once my kids got older, I started collecting one at a time. And started publicly doing crystal singing bowls, you know, 3.5 years ago. And that was just because a friend of mine that had a yoga studio goes, hey, you guys want to do something different? And I was like, I'll do one. I figured I'd do one, and that was it. I didn't figure I'd ever do it again. And she's like, can you come do this next month, too? And it's now I'm doing that one the second Sunday of every single month. And I've been for 3 years.
And can we go to your other slide on goals and such? Or needs this, that's fine too. So we have to wrap things up, but is there anything